some of those tools are. You can quickly go down a rabbit hole, so we tried to keep it high level. But I think the main takeaway was that please reach out to us. We're really, it's a huge priority for this administration to continue to promote U.S. business and Africa's energy sector. Power Africa can serve as this one-stop shop for you. So we just encourage you to reach out. And then more broadly, the gentleman from DOE brought up that globally there's also a one-stop shop through export.gov/REE, where you can see these sort of amalgamations of a suite of tools and resources of how the USG can support your efforts. So I'll leave it at that. So in that Asia session, we heard quite a bit about regional variation. So it's probably talking about Asia monolithically is not accurate. The Latin America session, they talked about, what I heard was that it's hard to talk about Latin America monolithically. In the Africa context, was there any conversation around not treating Africa monolithically? We didn't touch on that, but I think that's absolutely true, that it's very, between East, West, and Southern Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa, it's a very different market from country to country. There's some regional trends there, but definitely not monolithic, no. So size matters and location matters, I think, were the two key takeaways. But opening up the floor, because I think we still have quite a bit of time.
We have maybe just about a couple minutes, because I want to turn it over to Ethan and then do a couple other closing remarks.
So 3 questions, 2 questions. 2 minutes, 2 questions.
Any questions?
Comments?
We may be all talked out at this point.
I mean, I can give my commerce pitch about how we have 100 offices domestically, we work in 86 countries around the world, we have a team that's ready to work with you, in addition to all of the great policy work we do on trade negotiations, but that's not why I'm here.
One right here.
Perfect.
So, I just wanted to make a comment to sort of complement what Peter said about the smart grid discussion. I think, and it seems to be the same discussion in other groups, there was all this discussion about the small and off-grid options versus the traditional modes. And the way I understood it is that in many developing countries, there's a discussion about whether they should follow the traditional model of building a huge utility in the sort of a traditional grid, or if they should just sort of leapfrog towards more distributed and more innovative systems. And obviously, it will likely be a hybrid, whatever develops in these countries. But I think it just shows that there's a lot of interest about those topics, and maybe that's something that can be picked up in further discussions.
Yeah, one thing we didn't touch, we talked about going super small, I think, from a national grid in the session, but we didn't talk about regional interconnections and the interplay between energy security for a particular market and reliance, I think, upon broader regional goals. So that's, I think, something to tease out in future iterations of this discussion, because we went small, but we didn't go super big either, and those two macro trends tend to permeate across the world.
So I have just a quick comment, both from the discussions today and my experience working in different countries is, my name is Mike Tupper. I'm with a company called Nishadi. We do specialized solar for remote applications and things like that. Is that the American approach to doing business is you meet somebody, you discuss the business first, and then you go out and have a beer. In most of the other countries, you have the beer first. You get to know the people, you find out about their family, their history, this and that, and then you discuss business. And I think that Americans often stumble with that because they lead with, let's do business, I want your money, and I think that puts people off sometimes. And that's a big cultural difference that, we say, okay, yeah, each Latin American country is different, but I think it's more that the U.S. way of doing things is different than it may be in doing it in other countries in the world. I mean, of course, that's a generalization, so it only applies so much, but that's my experience.
So that was maybe perfect, because I had 2 questions in 2 minutes, and we're standing before the beer, correct? And so, one more, okay.
Just related to that comment, what I have heard from working around the world is that you talk to European and you talk to Chinese, and you never know what you're going to get. You handshake with American, and you know that they're going to stand behind it.
Well, on that note, thank our discussants for stepping up to the charge and sticking to 3 points, and hopefully we'll move on.